What's happening, everybody? I want to welcome you all back to the Shangri-La Lounge. We're the last dive bar at the end of the world and a rest stop for the road weary and the weird. And this time around, I am being joined by my friend Shelby Novak, host of Scare You to Sleep and co-host of the Bloody Disgusting podcast. Shelby, welcome to the Shangri-La Lounge.
Thank you so much, Aaron. I'm so excited to be here. I'm so happy to be here on your new venture. I'm very happy.
Thank you. All right. So how's the podcast? You're busy. You're like a really, really, really busy person. So how's everything going?
It's great. It's going great. I have a lot of balls in the air that I'm juggling, really hoping not to drop any of them. But everything is going fantastic. Yeah, Scare You to Sleep, the Bloody Disgusting podcast. I recently joined another show called The Lady Killers.
My goodness.
I'm also working on some stuff for Bloody Disgusting, the company. So yes, I'm workaholic.
You are, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for finding a few minutes to hang out with me.
Of course, always. We've known each other I was thinking about it recently. I was talking to another guest of yours, Whitney, and we were like, oh my God, we've all known each other for like almost a decade now. It
blows my mind every time I realize that. Like, it'll come up like on Facebook or something. You get an anniversary, like a friend anniversary.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, like a solid decade,
Oh, it's wild.
We all started out in like a little fan group for a podcast, and then it kind of blew up from there,
It really did. It really did. The world is strange.
So, Scare You to Sleep is obviously a singularly hosted show, and fiction. You read fiction, and sometimes written by other people, sometimes written by yourself.
Yes.
How is all that going? I guess this far in, are you kind of like, are you still getting as many entries from other people as you were?
I'm still overwhelmed with submissions. Overwhelmed. My biggest problem is that there's only one of me, and I keep getting people who are like, hey, I sent you something like 6 months ago. And I'm like, I haven't read it yet. I am so sorry. I only have 2 eyes. And I've tried hiring people to read the stories for me, but I'm honestly, I'm just a control freak, and I want to read them myself. Fine. And it's a problem.
That show is your baby. I could totally understand not really wanting to like trust somebody else with the job, because ultimately, if you trust somebody else to it, like, it's your name that's on it. So it's
exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. You get me.
But you also, like I said, you write some of the stuff yourself.
I do.
Is there pressure to kind of make sure that you're representing your own work enough, or is it kind of when you get the itch, you throw something in there?
It's usually when I get the itch, but I have had I'll have large swaths of time where I just haven't had any inspiration, and I feel like maybe no one's noticed, but then I will get people in my Facebook group or emailing me that are like, hey, are you gonna write, like, I missed the Shelby originals and this and that, which makes me feel so good, but it's also like, oh, okay, they did notice I took a while and had writer's block. And yeah, for sure.
How many episodes in are you now? Do you know offhand?
I just did episode 420 Blaze It. Yeah. Yeah.
That's fantastic. That's amazing though. Like you hit like 100 and you're like, wow, 100, that's something. I imagine like 250s probably.
I remember hitting like 25 and being like, I've done 25 of these. That's crazy.
How is that possible?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But 420. Holy shit.
Yeah.
All right. So then, because you weren't busy enough doing all of that, then you hopped into Bloody Disgusting as a co-host for their podcast. And tell me a bit about that, because it's your newer venture, I guess.
It is my newer venture. Yeah. So basically, my co-host Zena, she had 2 other co-hosts before me, both of them very busy, and they just had to step away for different reasons. But she wanted to keep the show going.
Yeah.
So at one point, our mutual friend and network producer, Pacific Obadiah over at Bloody Disgusting, he suggested to her that she have me on. And she and I had met briefly because of a different project that never got off the ground, like a couple of years ago. that was going to be a bloody disgusting thing, and it just, these things happen. Sometimes they don't come to pass.
Yeah.
So we knew each other a little bit. He was like, I'll have her on the show, because she was doing this thing where she'd have like a guest host for a whole month. And she told me later she was trying to find kind of her person, essentially, that she gelled with. And so I came along and she was like, well, do you maybe want to stick around for like another month? And I was like, yeah, for sure. Like we just hit it off so well. We have people who ask us constantly, like, have you guys been friends for like 10 years? And we're like, no, we've actually never even met in person. We just like, you just meet these people in life sometimes and you just click. And I don't know. Yeah. And so that's how Xena and I were. We just clicked. We get along. So she's also a workaholic. And so we just work really well together. And we both had so many. I came in and I was like, hey, it's your show. I don't want to step on any toes, but I got a lot of ideas. And she was like, I love ideas. And so we were both. That's why we're on YouTube now. We're on the official Bloody Disgusting YouTube. You can watch the show. Before, when I came on, it was only audio. And I was like, and so it was just like we found our other person that wanted to like level things up and do different things. And recently we got a few different sponsors. Like we have a hot sauce sponsor. Yes, we have to eat hot sauce.
Gamefly is on your
Yes,
now?
Gamefly. Oh my God. I couldn't believe it when Gamefly, because I've just been a fan of theirs for forever, honestly. And I was like, Gamefly? I told my brother right away. I was like, Gamefly is sponsoring one of my shows. I couldn't believe it. And like, I just got in the mail, I got Silent Hill F from Gamefly, and
I got that for Christmas. I haven't played it yet, but I'm like,
really, yeah, I haven't played it. I'm very excited to. So yes, it's been a weird whirlwind of just honestly becoming someone who says yes to everything.
Right. How was the switch going from, because obviously Scary to Sleep is audio based.
Yes.
How was it going to something that also had a video aspect to it?
Oh, good. It's so okay. It's so funny because it's like it was all my idea or not all my. I don't want to take anything away from Xena, but I was the one who really pushed for us to do video. It was like, this is the future, and it's kind of ironic that my main breadwinner of a show still hasn't gone to video. I've been asked about it by people higher up than me at the company, but I'm like, I don't really know how to make it video.
Yeah.
And the big change was. And now I also edit the Bloody Disgusting podcast. I edit the video. And so honestly, it has really been hard to like edit my own face for so many hours a week, like staring at my own face. Like it's one thing to edit Scare You to Sleep because there's sound effects, there's music. I kind of distract myself. It's almost like I'm not listening to myself anymore, other than like it's my voice, but I detach from the fact that it's my voice. It becomes a project.
Yeah.
But when you're looking at your face, you can't detach. It's like, that's me. There I am. And so it's been difficult just from honestly a vanity standpoint. I'll be 100% with you.
Yeah.
An egotistical vanity standpoint, vain standpoint is just hard to like look at one's own face over like for hours. It really is.
No, I totally get it, because this, like, you were on my previous show.
Yes.
Was all audio, no video at all. And I was like way opposed.
We were both audio
anything.
babies back then.
I was way opposed to anything video based. And I have a friend who's coming to come on the show in a couple episodes, and he was like, you need to hop on YouTube. And I was like, well, I'll just do it audio based. And he was like, why would you do that? Like, if you're going to go on YouTube, why would you keep it audio? Do video. So he kind of had to talk me into it. It took him weeks to wear me down to where I said like, okay, I'll try it. And
I've become that person for other shows too. I'm like, you guys got to get on video. I started the Lady Killers podcast and they were already considering it, but I was like, let me show you, let me make that push for you. You got to get on video. And I'm like, who have I become? I started this as a hobby where I was just like a faceless person. And I would frequently get people who would find my Instagram because I didn't even talk about Instagram. I didn't post on Instagram much. And they'd be like, oh, I came across your Instagram and I like, it's so weird to see your face because I didn't know what you looked like. And like those days are gone. So
yeah. Now everybody knows.
Yeah.
You're out there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, amidst all of this time that you're constantly working, have you had any chance to do any more like big food projects? You were quite the kitchen aficionado the last time we talked.
literally as I was like kind of counting down the minutes to because I
Mhm.
always kind of sit at my desk like 10 minutes before I'm due somewhere so I make sure I'm not late.
Yeah.
I was Googling butane for my 2 kitchen torches I have because it's in California, you can't have it shipped to you, like even in small quantities.
Okay.
And it's just been really hard for me to find in the store. So I was like making it my mission to track down where I can get a can of butane to fill up my kitchen torches because I had an idea. And I'll tell you my idea. I've been
Please.
really into this is so dumb. I've been really into tapioca pudding lately, making it from
Okay.
scratch.
Yeah.
And I'm one of my favorite desserts is creme brulee. And I was like, what if I make tapioca pudding and put a creme brulee like topping on it? And I was like, the texture, because you know, tapioca has that texture. That's what I love
Yeah. Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
And then the crunchiness of the sugar or the burnt
Yeah.
sugar. I was like, I don't know if it's going to be horrific or amazing. And I'm sure I'm not the first person to ever think to do that, but I've been on like it's been like living in my brain like
Yeah.
I got to get the butane. I got to do this.
That sounds fantastic. I'm not even gonna lie. That sounds like I'm like, man, why do we have to be on opposite coasts? Like,
I know. I know. Can't even ship it to you. It'd be rancid by the time it got there.
all right. So we have an overarch topic for this show now. Like we didn't used to do it that way. It was just kind of hang out and shoot the shit. But now
Mhm.
we still gonna do that. But we got a little bit of an overarch. And I decided to go with found footage horror movies.
Yay! Love that.
Which kind of for personal reasons, it's probably my favorite subgenre that isn't
Mine
anthology.
too.
I love anthologies.
Yeah.
But I am now up to my project was to watch as many found footage movies as I could get my hands on, basically.
Uh-huh.
And then I decided, well, maybe I'll just watch all of the ones on Tubi because they have like
Oh.
a whole section of nothing but that. And it's kind of expanded out from there because there's like so many streaming platforms now at this point that you can kind of get
Mhm.
stuff from wherever. I am up to 114
Yeah, I was
as of
gonna
today.
say
Yeah,
that's
it's
I can't even imagine how many you've
it's
watched by now. Oh my
too
god.
many, too many. I am somewhere in between really proud of myself and really ashamed of myself, um, of the countless wasted hours I've
That's the
had.
kind of genre
Um,
too that like starts to like get to your head. You're just like, what's real anymore? I don't know
yeah,
what's real.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
every
yeah.
documentary starts to feel fake, but then
Mhm.
every fake thing starts to feel real. So yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's why I
Like some
like
of
it
those
so much.
mockumentaries are so good that you're just kind of like, am I watching Hulu? Is this like a
Right?
crime doc or something? Like, no, no, it's
Mhm.
just a bunch of people in a camera got
Yeah.
together. But all right. So do you think that the name found footage still kind of works for that genre? Because it's not necessarily found footage anymore. Like Blair Witch obviously was.
Mhm.
And you could even go back and say like Cannibal Holocaust, which would be like an originator of the
Yes.
genre. That's found
Definitely.
footage. But
Mhm.
they're not all found footage. Like you've got your mockumentaries,
Mhm.
uh you've got ones that are based kind of like influencer, like YouTube type stuff, and
Yeah,
like
there's streaming.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah,
Dead
yeah.
Scream
Like
is a
stuff
big
like
one.
Host,
Yeah.
yeah, Dead Scream.
Gonjiam Haunted Asylum
Yeah, yeah,
that's a
yeah.
scream. Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
So do you think
Yes.
found footage still works
You
for that,
know,
or
I
should we
feel
be
like it's a
calling it like POV horror?
you know, POV of horror is a good one, but I feel like it's a good catch-all. There's something about found it's the alliteration, found
Mhm.
footage, you know? But I agree. I've run into this a few times. Like I was just talking about like Mungo. I kept referring to it as found footage, but it's not really.
Yeah.
It's a mockumentary. And
Yeah.
even then you think of like the term mockumentary. And honestly, when I hear mockumentary, I think of like Spinal Tap or a
Yeah, you
Christopher
think
Guest
comedy or
movie.
something. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't and so I'm like, okay, yes, a faux documentary. And it's like
Right.
you can the minutia you could get into with like the proper terminology on found footage. So I think
Yeah.
that's why I like to stick with just found footage. I know some of it wasn't found and some of it's not real
Right.
footage, but you know, let's stop being I'm too pedantic every day in my life any as it is. I have to pick my battles.
Right. 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 You know, funny you mentioned that. So the last time we talked, you were telling me about something that you were doing on Spotify where you're talking about Ouija boards. And you
Yes. Oh
told me
wow.
and you
It's
told
been
me
that
about how
long.
yeah, it has, no kidding. You told me about how they insisted on correcting you that it wasn't Ouija
Yes.
board, it was Ouija board. And I want
Ouija
you to know
board.
that ever since that episode, I have not been able to say or hear Ouija board. anytime someone says it, I will yell back to the TV. It's
It's
Ouija.
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 It's
God damn it.
Ouija.
You know? Yeah.
I know. Oh yeah, I've been corrected on my show a few times because also on Scare You to Sleep, I do episodes. I do a couple different types of episodes because I get bored and
Yeah.
it's my show. I decided from a very early on that I was like, I'm gonna do whatever I want because I didn't
Yeah.
know it ended up being a career. Who knew? But anyway, I do true horror episodes and I also do dark Reddit episodes where I find
Mhm.
creepy shit around Reddit. Which I've been doing for a long time. I'm not saying I originated the genre, but like now it's like that's something that it's everywhere now. People reading stuff from Reddit,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh, I've been doing this for like a long time.
Well, it's like a treasure trove, really. Like Reddit, it
It
must just
really
be
is. I
thick
don't
with
blame
horror.
people.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it's endless. Whatever you want from it, horror, comedy, whatever.
Yeah.
Mother-in-laws, lots of mother-in-law stuff. But so I get a lot of stories that have to do with Ouija boards, and I would get emails, especially after then, that were like, you're saying it wrong. And I was like, and so I explained on one episode, I was like, look, I did this show for Parcast, RIP Parcast, called Mediums. They were very insistent I pronounce it this way, and this was the correct pronunciation. So now it's just stuck. It's just there. It's
Mhm.
Ouija to me. And then for a while, I would say both. And then I was like, this is confusing. I just got to pick a lane
Right.
and it's Ouija. And
Yeah.
then I would get emails about that. Well, technically, it's we ya because it's yes in both languages. It's we and ya. And I
Yeah.
was like, okay, but that's not how it was pronounced when the actual board came out. It was pronounced Ouija. Like I don't.
Yeah.
I
And we
know. So
sounds stupid.
Ouija sounds stupid. Thank
It
you.
does.
I didn't want to say
Yeah.
it, but it does.
Sorry. It's my
Um,
show. I'll say it.
Thank you. Yeah, I got a very lengthy letter about that one time, and I was like, "Whoa! First of all, why does this bother you so much?"
Right.
Yeah. So it was because it was funny because the person was like, "Just say Ouija." I'm like, "Well, if you're gonna tell me that even Ouija is wrong, like, what do you want it to be right, or do
Yeah.
you want it to like, what do you want? What do you want from me?" But yeah, so that is why I say I've actually explained it on my show a few times why I say Ouija because most people don't. But it's all I can say now, Ouija. And then when I say it, people are like, it's Ouija. And I'm like, well, it
It's not.
doesn't say Ouija. It's actually, look at it, the
Yeah.
spelling. Where's the E? Where
There's no
is it?
E. There's no
There's
IE.
no,
There's no any of that. It's ja.
exactly.
Yeah.
So look at us. I'm glad
Yeah.
that stuck with you because it
It
stuck
did.
with
You'd
me.
like, and I was like a hardline Ouija person. That's what I said. It was
Yeah.
just quicker. Like it rolled off the tongue faster.
Ouija.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
they corrected you. You corrected me, and that was all it took.
Look at this. Look at the curse they've left
Look
upon
where we
us.
are now.
Yeah.
So then, what was your first experience with found footage horror? Like, do you remember the first one you saw?
I don't know. It had to have been like Blair Witch Project. You know
That's
what?
kind
Okay,
of
the
what I
first one
figured.
that left a big impression on me was Cloverfield, actually.
Yeah, yeah,
And I
yeah.
know that's technically sci-fi, but
It counts.
my
Big
brother,
monsters count.
it counts, but like it
Yeah,
was horrific. I
yeah,
was horrified.
yep.
So my brother and I remember when it was coming out, somehow it was like one of the first movies to do a big internet viral campaign where
Mhm.
they had like the website with like the missing people and you could like
Yeah.
and it had all these little secrets where you could flip the pictures and things like
Mhm.
that. And my brother and I, we got really into it. And when the movie came out, we were really into it. And there was something about Cloverfield. Again, it might not have been my first, but it was the first that made like it left a big
That was
impression
the one
on
that hooked
me.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Which is strange because it's like probably the most unrealistic of most of them these days, especially because,
Yeah.
I mean, depending on how much you believe in ghosts, but like this is like
Right.
giant monsters. Like it was,
Yeah.
but there was something about it, like running with them, the intensity and like
Mhm.
just really feeling like you're there and like the emotional gratification that you get from not knowing these people because there was no setup. You just
Yeah.
jump in and you're just with them. And it's like all of a sudden I'm with this group of friends and
Yeah.
they mean everything to me, So
Yep.
yeah.
I think mine was probably Blair Witch, but I like
Mm,
that one would have been because of the viral marketing. I think like
for
when I
sure.
first went to see that, I legitimately thought it might be a real case. Like
Yeah.
they hadn't spoiled it yet. Like I think
Hmm.
it spoiled like a week or so before the movie came out. It kind of got
Hmm.
spoiled that it was all acted. But
All acted.
I
Yeah.
remember watching like numerous A&E documentary, like the documentary that they had. I watched the
The
hell out of that thing.
documentary. I
Yeah,
forgot
yeah.
about
The Curse of
that.
the Blair Witch,
Yes.
I think it was called. I watched that so many times, and I would like make
Mhm.
other people watch it. I would be like, "You gotta come see this. Come watch this." You know, like
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
it really landed me. But then once they came out, and I realized that it was kind of this small genre that was blowing up. The one that
Mhm.
hooked me first was The Last Broadcast. Have you seen that one yet?
No, I
You've
have
never seen The
not.
Last Broadcast? It came
No.
out like I think it was made before The Blair Witch, but it didn't come out
Mhm.
until after The Blair Witch. So
Okay.
it doesn't get the credit that it should.
Mhm.
Um, it's about two, like I would say, like in like modern terms, you would say like two YouTube show hosts, but there was no
Mhm.
YouTube back then, so
Yeah.
it was like a web series host that
Yeah.
go that go with a guy to hunt the Jersey Devil. And
Oh.
they're like live broadcasting it in with like chat and the whole nine yards, and they end up dead. And then they're trying to figure out like what happened to the footage. The guy that they were with gets blamed, and then there's this kind of big twist at the end. And they kind of
Ooh.
blew the ending a little bit. Like they dropped the
That
ball a little bit on
happens.
the ending, but it
Yeah.
happens. Um, that movie is probably my favorite found footage movie. So if you get the
I will
chance to
have
watch
to
it, you
watch
have
that.
yeah, yeah.
Yes.
I hope I
Yes,
didn't sell it too
definitely.
much because it's like, 1996
No
or
worries.
97 when it
Yeah.
came out or something like that. Um, how did you take to the shaky cam look? Because I know like when Blair Witch came out.
Everybody's getting sick, remember? I
Yeah,
remember that.
yeah.
People, like, had to leave the theater because they were getting sick. It's never bothered me ever, like, in theater, out of the I know, because I know, like, Blair Witch, people had an easier time with it on, like, home video, you
Mhm.
know? But, it's never bothered me. Yeah, I don't it's weird because I do get motion sick, but not these
But
movies,
not
like
that.
yeah, mm-mm. Mhm.
Yeah, I went with like a group of people, and I think I was the only one in the group that really enjoyed the movie. Everybody else kind of hated it. And the theater didn't really particularly like it either. Like when the lights came up, I definitely remember people like a lot of that was so stupid. Like
Wow.
that was so fake. I can't believe it was fake. Like people like
That's
which I loved because it meant that people actually went into that movie thinking that it was a
it was
real
gonna be
thing. That
real.
we were
Yeah.
basically watching a snuff film,
A snuff
essentially. Like,
film,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
that to me is like that's the most effective type of
I
movie. Did you
know.
get any
I
more
came
effective
to
than that?
watch teens get realistically
Right.
murdered. Excuse me, I want my money back. It's funny,
Like you don't gonna hate Nightmare on Elm Street because the teens didn't actually die in the movie, right?
exactly. Exactly. I showed that movie recently to a few of my younger cousins who
Mhm,
are like they range from like I think 13 all the way to 16. It was
mhm,
four little boys. And it was so funny, like, because their mom was just like, oh my God, I remember this movie being so scary.
mhm.
And like they were so unfazed by it. But we were explaining to them, we were like, you have so much like this now. There was
Yeah,
nothing like this at the time,
yeah,
at
this was
least at this
original, like
scale. Yeah. And so
yeah.
the novelty of what it was in and of itself was scary. Like, so it was interesting because then I was like, okay, well, let's watch Hell House LLC because I was like, you will like found footage. I don't know why I was so bent on them liking found footage. I was like, you will, you will. But I had shown them Paranormal Activity as well on a
Mhm,
different visit, and they loved those. We watched the first three because they couldn't stop watching
yeah,
them. And so I showed them Hell House LLC, and they're like, okay, this is scary. And I was like, okay, it's because the concept, like, just you missed. It's so
yeah,
weird to think that a whole generation of, or like, I guess more than one generation, like, kind of missed the moment. And
mhm,
so Blair Witch didn't have the effect on them that it did to so
yeah.
many, you know? Hmm.
Yeah, it is weird that like what's considered like the kind of forefather of found footage. Like Blair Witch gets the credit that, even something like Cannibal Holocaust would normally get
Hmm.
because it came out so much earlier.
Well,
Blair
it's
Witch
like
gets the
Cannibal
credit for it.
Holocaust. Yeah, like, and it's like Cannibal Holocaust, they had to go into court to prove they were
Yeah,
alive.
yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
in Italy, they were just like, "No, there's no way these people like, you gotta
Yeah, you
show up." And
definitely killed them.
yes, yes. They definitely killed that turtle, but,
They definitely killed the
other
turtle and a whole bunch of other stuff. Like I don't
yeah,
like that movie. Like I
me
will
either.
acknowledge what it
I
is
can't watch
and I will
it.
acknowledge
Yeah.
its importance to the genre, but
Same,
I've
same.
seen it
Mhm.
once and that was kind of enough for me. Like
Yeah, I
if
couldn't
you
watch
cut
any of
those
the
scenes
animal
out,
stuff.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
If you cut those scenes out, I think it would be a better movie. Like I think it would
Yes.
probably be a much better movie, but
Mhm.
I don't go in
Yeah.
on the animal torture.
Me either. I know. Mhm. I can't do it. Mhm.
Do you think that this far along in the genre's life that it's still an effective scare, or do they really have to try hard now to make it work?
I do think they have to try. I don't know if it's harder, but you just have to get you have to take yourself out of, I mean, what the original box was. Because
Mhm.
I mean, same as like paranormal. A lot of these franchises, I mean, Hell House LLC is a good example
Yeah,
of they went away from the found footage genre for this
they
last
did.
one. They decided to go against it. And because it is, you are kind of in a box, like there is a limited amount of things you can do, which is crazy. You know, it does make it scarier if it is effective. But I just think people have to you have to work with your era. Whether even
Yeah.
if it's a period piece, you have to work within your era about what's scary. You can't rehash the same things. I mean, there were some things like oh my god, what's that movie called? Well, Host. Host is a great example.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I watched the short film that he did before the full length one came out,
Mhm.
and I was so scared. I couldn't believe I was so scared of this short that was like I saw it on Twitter. Like I didn't even see it on YouTube. It was like on Twitter. And I was like, holy shit, that was the scariest thing I've ever seen. And they were like, Shutter's like, do you want to make a full length one? And I'm so glad they did because
Yeah.
like Host utilized its time, you know, it was COVID era. It was
Yep.
we talk on Zoom much more often now than we used
Yeah.
to. And I feel like they just really took something that I feel like a lot of people might have like kind of scoffed at because it's like, well, Zoom isn't scary. How do you make
Right.
Zoom scary? And I feel like they did so successfully. That and Unfriended. I think that's another one that
Yeah.
utilizes
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Yeah.
video chatting in a very successful way and it's very scary. And again, you just have to get creative with your era, with what's around you, with realizing you can't just do VHS tapes
Mhm.
forever, you know?
Yeah. Exactly. Eventually, you're going to get to a generation that has no idea what the hell that is.
Exactly. Mhm.
And like
It's
at this point, like, oh, we found some VHS tapes. Well, that's great. Who's going to play them? Because I know maybe two people that have a VCR still, like myself and maybe one other person. Like it's just
exactly.
it's a dead format.
It
So
is a dead
nobody
format.
watching it now that's younger is going to get any kind of feeling from that. Like it
I
would
think
be,
that's the problem too, is people get a little too nostalgia pilled and they're like, but my VHSs from my
yeah,
childhood, you
but
know?
it's
And it's
always
like,
been this way, you know?
yeah, and it's like, I don't know, because look at that again, Unfriended and Host are just so brilliant and they don't need to, you know, lean on your
Mhm.
nostalgia. They use, you know, like especially Unfriended, it's all I know Host is adults, but Unfriended is teens. And it's like
Teenagers, yeah.
the fact that we go back to like the teen kind of slasher, but it's not
Mhm.
a slasher, but also it's also found footage. Like I thought that
Yeah.
was so, you know, creative and it utilized again a few different genres that we're familiar with in such a new way. Like we love
Yeah.
watching teens get slaughtered. We
Yeah,
have
we do.
since the dawn of movies, you
Seriously.
know.
Just line
Yeah.
them right up, you know?
Just line them up. Yeah.
I was hesitant about Host when it first came out because, you know,
Mhm.
I like Unfriended. Uh
Yeah.
and I think the second one isn't too bad either. What is it, on Dark
Yeah.
Web? It's not too bad.
The dark web. Yeah.
But
Mhm.
I was hesitant about Host because like pandemic era, there was a ton of found footage that came out
Oh
in the
yeah.
pandemic era.
Mhm.
Like I would argue too much. Like you can tell a pandemic
I
horror
agree.
movie.
I
Like
definitely
yeah,
agree. Yeah.
like I was telling my wife earlier, like the real downside of COVID was that, or the upside and downside of COVID was that anybody that had an idea that they wanted to make a movie had now had the time to
Yeah.
do it. But the downside of that is that they had the time to do it, and that doesn't mean you
Yeah.
should necessarily make a movie. Like
Yeah. It
so,
was the same with podcasters. I
yeah.
remember during COVID, I was working for Spotify. It was
Mhm.
around the time we did our interview, and I needed a new microphone. My microphone was going out, like, because it was just this old shitty microphone that I first started with, and it was going out. I needed a new
Yeah.
one, and I couldn't find a microphone because
Really?
everyone started a podcast. And I
Yeah.
remember trying to like kind of like center myself and be grateful and be like, look, it's great that everyone's being creative and you shouldn't be upset and you shouldn't feel elitist because you do need this for your job and other people
Right.
are doing it for a hobby. But but then, you know, we saw kind of some of the podcasts that came out of that era and,
Yeah.
you know,
It's not all great stuff. Like like I kept saying to myself, like, you know, eventually the bubble is gonna burst on this. And like, you know, it's just gonna kind of all just it's
yeah.
gonna ruin it for everybody. And I think we've been
Hmm.
kind of lucky because I think video coming into play may have softened that pop a little bit. Like,
Yeah. I agree. I agree.
Like,
And, it's not easy. You know how it is. It's not easy
yeah,
to get past. A friend of mine was recently telling me, he's like, he knew the statistic, like most podcasts stop after the third episode, I think it is. And
yeah, that's what somebody told me. Yeah,
yeah. And so it's like, honestly, just, I mean, that's why I'm honestly amazed that I have 420 episodes, because it's like
right.
I have such bad focus that I'm like, I can't believe I stuck with something this long.
I mean, I think it definitely helped for you because you had kind of a niche style show. Like you weren't just coming out and doing like, and I'm not trying to slag on true crime shows, but like a
No,
lot of
but
true crime shows came out of that
there
era.
were
Like everybody
yeah,
wanted
that
to talk
era.
true crime. Yeah.
Everybody did.
And
It is
and
fascinating,
you
and I
kind of
get
went the
it.
other way.
I did. Yes. I went with, it was personal. I was very personal. I I was going to say, I've already told you this, but I guess maybe your new listeners don't know this, but the reason I started Scary to Sleep is because I like to sleep to podcasts. I like to sleep to
Yeah.
ASMR and things, and I realized like so many of my favorites, even the scary ones, they would have just like, laughing or
Yeah.
screaming or something that would wake me up. So I was like, what if I do one that's just for sleeping? And like, it does have sound effects, but none of them are like crazy. And I admit
Yeah.
sometimes I do get overboard. My audience will let me know, like, girl, these weren't exactly sleep sound effects this
It's a
week.
little
But
loud this time. Yeah.
yeah, and I'll pull it back. I have pulled it back a couple times. I just get a little overexcited. But yeah, that's how I created mine. Was so it was kind of like, oh, I have this personal problem. Honestly, that's why I thought it wouldn't really do much other than become my own little hobby, was
Right.
because I was like, this is very specific. It's not only horror, it's horror fiction, and it's
Yeah.
also for sleeping. Like it
Yeah.
was, I just like kept burrowing into my own little hole and
Mhm.
was like, this is my little place in the world. And it turns out a lot of people had the same issue. So who knew?
Good on you.
Who
Yeah.
knew?
Seriously. All right, so I'm going to jump ahead on my list because all right, so when the movie Skinamarink came out,
uh, yeah,
you were the first person
I
that I
was
saw that
the
kind of
ambassador
championed the movie.
of
Yeah, you were.
Skinamarink.
You were.
Yes.
Now, I will fully admit that I watched the movie and it was not my thing. It was definitely not my vibe.
Hmm.
Um, but it's kind of one of those movies that I put on a list of like, all right, I know somebody that really likes it. So there must be something about it that I'm just not seeing yet. So every
Yeah.
now and then I will go back and revisit a movie like that. Like I
Hmm.
have movies that I'm like, nope, I don't like it, but I'll go back in like a year and I'll check it out again. Like I did it with The
Hmm.
Void. Have you ever seen that one?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
didn't like that one at first either, and then after, 3 or 4 watches, it finally landed
Like
me.
I get it
So,
now. Yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. So I definitely need to give Skinamarink another watch, like, I haven't really had the chance to do it, but I had a theory about that movie, and I
Uh-huh.
want you to tell me if you think that this is legit. I think Skinamarink would have served much better as an immersive experience. I think if you
Yes.
wanted to do it in a theater, that's fine, but
Hmm.
people should have had headphones to
Hmm.
where the sound was just because there's a whole lot of sound in that movie
It's
that
very sound
yeah, yeah,
oriented.
the naked
Yes.
ear isn't going to necessarily pick
No.
up, but if you've got
Hmm.
headphones you can hear it, like the child talking, and there's like,
And like you
if
can
you're
hear him
listening like
walking
on a
across the
TV, yeah,
carpet and
yeah,
stuff.
like if
Yes.
you're listening on like a TV soundbar, it might just sound like breathing.
So
It's nothing.
yes, I agree. Did we have this conversation when
I
Skinamarink
don't
came out?
think we did, but I
I
mean we
feel like
might
we
have.
did. Maybe we
Maybe we
did. I
did.
don't know. I feel like maybe you like
I might have
posted
posted
about it
something about
and
it.
I like agreed or something, because I feel like we've had this
Hmm.
conversation. So that was, oh sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
No, no,
If
no, go
you
ahead, go ahead.
So I agree. And one of my biggest things was I saw it in theaters,
Yeah.
and I saw it in a very small theater. The shout out to the NoHo Lamley.
Mhm.
I saw it with I didn't see it. It was just my ex-husband and like a bunch, like a handful of people in the theater.
Mhm.
And it was like the best viewing experience because it was a smaller theater. The sound was incredible.
Yeah.
So it was like, and everybody was like locked in. For some reason, this group of people, we were all strangers. We, for some reason, afterwards in the lobby, even kind of like stayed in the lobby together.
Mhm.
Again, this is a very small theater. So it's like one of those old school tiny
Yeah.
theaters. So like we stayed in the lobby together and we were like, all of these strangers, all of us were like, what
You
was
had like a
that?
bonding experience with it.
Yeah, it was so scary to me, but I agree. It's because I was like, I fully admit, like, some other people from the groups, I don't know if they want me to tell their names. So, like, but other people from our last podcast groups, came to me like and was just like, I don't get it. Why did you like this movie? Like, why? And I told them, I was like, look, if I would have seen it at home, like I would have fully been on my phone. I fully wouldn't have had the right sound design. Like I would have not liked it either. But I was like, I was just so fortunate to see it in a theater with really great sound. Like they had that sound jacked up, like you said, like you should have had in like headphones. Because again, like the little boy walking across the carpet, and like I think at home I wouldn't have known to turn my sound up that high.
You wouldn't have, because why would you think to do that?
Yeah, exactly. The long stretches of seemingly nothingness in theater were horrifying. They felt awful in the best way. And I was like, at home, I would have been bored. I would have been on my phone. I wouldn't have sat and like been forced to sit there and be like, what's happening? So yeah, I fully agree. I think it would have been amazing as an immersive experience. I feel like if they ever, for some reason, re-release it in theaters, I don't know if it would ever happen, but I will be there. First of all, I'll be there. And I would recommend anybody who's like on the fence about it or they want to rewatch it to at least see it in theaters. Like, I don't think we'll ever get our immersive experience, unfortunately. No, but at least in a theater, like that is the way that movie. In fact, I've never watched it at home. That was like, because I know it's not.
I honestly think it would ruin your ruin your vision of it. Like, I think
because
it would just be like a subpar
felt like
experience.
an experience. Yeah, it felt like an experience. Like afterwards, I was like a changed person. I was like, everything I've ever written is garbage. This was the best thing ever made. And
that's kind of what got me. I was like, she really likes this movie. Like, you weren't just like, boy, I sure had a good time. You were like, this is the scariest fucking thing I have ever seen, and you need to go watch it. Everyone needs to watch it. And I was like, all right.
It's still like, it's a joke. Like Xena and I on the Bloody Disgusting podcast, we both have a couple movies that both of us like bring up constantly that most people hate. And one of mine is Skinamarink. And I'm like, and people come on all the time and tell me they hate it. And it's totally fine. You don't have to like, nobody has to like the same movies as me.
Yeah.
I had this happen when Trap came out. I really loved Trap. I had several people I knew. Like, it's one thing if it's like a listener of mine who I don't really know, who's like just kind of looking to have an internet argument. But like people I know, like DMing me like 30 times, like, no, explain to me why you liked it. And I'm like, I don't know, man. I just did. Like, if you didn't, I'm not mad at you. I don't think less of you for not liking a movie. It's okay. You know,
that movie was weird for me because it was another one where I saw that you had really liked it, and I saw that before I watched it. So maybe that kind of I was like, I kind of went in thinking it was going to be necessarily something it wasn't. I will say that I love Josh Hartnett, and I liked him in that movie, but I did not like the movie.
And that's
it just felt
it's so funny. I'm 0-2 for you. You're like, should I be her friend anymore?
I would call it a half because like Skinamarink, I'm still on the fence kind of with.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to go back and watch it again. I feel like Trap had its shot, and I'm not necessarily going to go back on that one.
Right. Yeah, no, I've told people, I'm like, I've never claimed I had like good taste in movies. Like, no one ever, I know, it's like, I didn't even, like, they put me on the Bloody Disgusting pod. They didn't make me take a test to be on the Bloody Disgusting podcast. Maybe they should have, but like they didn't. And I'm there. So here I am.
Fill out like your top 10 movies or something.
Exactly. I'm here to spread the good word of terrible movies and get used to it. You know,
I am a huge lover of bad film. I consider it to be like a whole other genre into itself. Like, I think bad movies are, if you try to make a bad movie, you cannot make a bad movie. Like, what makes a bad movie good is just the absolute heart that the people put into it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a friend who, she doesn't live in LA anymore, but when she did, we would at least 1 or 2 Saturdays a month, we would spend like 12 hours watching bad movies. And like, we kept we called it our living list of bad movies. She still keeps it. And like, it was the stuff that we would discover, like down to my favorite that we ever did. And in fact, it was so shocking that we've shown other people and made them. And it's, of course, no, people who aren't into bad movies don't get it. And they're like, why are you making me watch this? Yeah. There was this, it's like a Hallmarky type movie, but it's not Hallmark. And I forgot who even made it, but it had like Haley Duff in it, Hilary Duff's sister. Anyway, there was a scene where like she's running through this vineyard and you can fully see a case of water bottles from the crew and some camera equipment. And like fully see camera equipment. There's a part where you can literally see like not an extra, but like a guy from the crew, like off in the distance.
Yeah.
If they didn't even try with any sort of like reflective surface, like the cars fully just camera angle. Like you just see the like there's a one part where she closes her car door and you see the entire crew standing there, like just clear as day. And it's just the most magnificent thing. And that's what I love about them. It's because you could, like you said, you can't do that on purpose. If you tried to do that on purpose, it would look stupid. It would look schlocky.
It would look like you were trying to do it on purpose.
Yeah, exactly. Like the magic of a real bad movie is just you can't recreate it. Yeah.
Like the best example I think is so the original Samurai Cop is like bad movie, is like top tier bad movie type stuff. They made a sequel to Samurai Cop and it is fucking horrendous. Like it is just not good. It's not fun. It's not funny.
Yeah.
Like they tried to redo that one. Same thing with like Birdemic. The first one is funny because it's so off the rails.
So off the rails.
The sequels, he's trying to make a bad movie now. Like you're trying to copy what you had in that original one, and you can't do that.
Sharknado, that first one, you know, there was something magical about that first Sharknado, and now there's shark everything, you know.
Yeah, no, there's like 7 more sequels of that.
Yeah.
Or like, have you ever dipped into Neil Breen at all?
Yes. Oh yes. Oh my god, it's so funny. Saying his name is like saying magic words. Like so few people ever know who that is, and oh my god, yeah. No, that was another one. A few friends of mine who were like, "Oh, you think you know bad movies? Let me show you." Neil Breen
like a
movies
are boss. Like if you can get past that level, you can kind of listen. You can kind of watch anything you want.
I know. Because so many people are like, well, I've seen The Room. And it's like, oh, that's just child's play at this point. Yeah. You got to see Neil Breen. Like, you don't even know what it's like to spend all your money on a movie. To make a movie.
Like this is the most insane vanity projects you will ever find yourself watching. And you know what? I kind of love vanity projects. Like there is just something so ridiculous about somebody, like, especially like, say, like Neil Breen, who has cast himself in like the most absurd roles with the most absurd plot. And like here he is having like sex scenes with like, you know, like young women. And I'm thinking like nobody in their right mind would ever like cozy up to Neil Breen and be like, what's up, sailor? Like nobody's doing that. Like
absolutely not. The most beautiful straight out of Central Casting women. Like, yeah, there was one, I can't remember the name of it, but like it was about like a magic rock, like a magic like crystal rock. And I was like, and you could just see like, oh my God, he was at like a craft fair where they always have that booth with like gems and stuff. And he saw this and was like, well, this looks magic. So I'm going to just make a whole movie around this fucking rock. Like it's just great. It's just great.
Or he's got one where he's supposed to be like this kind of like cyber android from space. And he's got like, he opens his chest and I don't know if it's a chain that's got it onto his chest. I think it's supposed to be like glued, but it's like a hard drive. It's like a motherboard from a computer.
Hard drive. I remember that. Oh my God. Yes. Oh.
Like empty cans of tuna fish all over his car because his character does nothing but eat tuna fish, and like busted laptops everywhere that are clearly not working.
That's right. I remember all the laptops because I remember being like, Neil, where did you get those? Neil, did you come across those earnestly? Like, or honestly, where did you get those? Like,
he stole those out of a dumpster. Like,
right? I was like, what was the Craigslist ad, Neil? What were we doing?
Need 50 laptops, must not work. Like, craziness.
Oh,
do you have any favorite found footage movies?
For sure. Skinamarink, which can mean that's not even really found footage because it's not found. It's just you're just kind of in a world.
Yeah, that's POV. I would call that like POV horror.
Yeah, POV horror. Yeah. Like Hell House LLC, the original was very scary to me. Host, I've mentioned a few of them already, like Cloverfield. It's so hard to think of like favorites again, like, and then there's stuff like I would say Gonjiam Haunted Asylum, but like you said, that's not found footage. It was streamed footage. So POV, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, Gonjiam Haunted Asylum is one of the scariest. Like there's a few. What is that other one? There's another Japanese one. There is a Japanese one. Gonjiam is Korean, but there's a Japanese one that I really love, and I cannot remember the name of it right now. But that was again, that's like a mockumentary. It's like
Noroi.
Yes, Noroi the Curse. Yes, Noroi. There's a part in that because I just watched that within the last few months, and I was watching it at night here, and I live alone. And there was a certain part in that one that for the first time in a long time, I had to turn it off. I was like, I am so scared right
Right.
now. I had to turn it off and finish it in the daylight because I
Wow.
could not continue. Yeah. Yeah.
Does that
Love
happen
it when
often for you?
no, and we talk about it on the Bloody Disgusting podcast a lot with like we watch so much and we have to watch things for work. I mean,
Right.
I'm not digging ditches. I'm not trying to complain, but we do have
Oh,
to
no,
watch
no.
a lot of horror for
Yeah.
for work. And so you get a little jaded to like scared, being scared.
Yeah.
So when you do get actually scared by a horror movie, it feels novel and it's
Yeah.
like, oh, you know, and it might not even be surrounding that part might not even be the best movie ever, but it's like, oh, something about this scene though, like they did something and I'm scared. Yeah. So it's good.
That's how I was with the original Paranormal Activity.
Oh
So
yeah.
we saw that before it got distribution. Like we had somebody who had a
Oh
copy when they were
yeah.
still shopping it.
When they were still
So I got
shopping
to
it,
see it. Yeah.
yes.
So I got to see it with the original ending.
Oh my
Like,
god.
yeah. That movie scared the hell out of me. Like it was just
Yeah.
so much weird atmosphere for that movie, and like little things would happen, but they felt so kind of monumental in the scope of the movie as you're watching it, like
Mhm.
just a door kind of shutting or like the footprints left. Like when we got back from our friend's house from watching it, like I didn't want to go down the hallway. Like I had that, like
Yeah.
I would look down the hallway to make sure that there was like nothing weird down the hallway before I would go. It was
Oh
the
my
craziest
god.
thing because there's nothing in that movie really. Like there's no you don't ever see the ghost, you don't see the demon or
Mm-mm.
whatever you want to call it. Like you never see it. It's all in your head. And my head
It
apparently
is.
just grabbed it and ran. So
Yeah, I remember that before it got distribution. I remember because I read an interview with Steven Spielberg and he
mm,
got it. Like he got a
yeah,
copy and he talked about how he watched it alone in his screening room and he was terrified. And
yeah,
he made it like he commented, and this is so true of that movie, where like every time night comes around, you're like, oh no. Like you're just
because you
like
think you know
living.
something's coming.
Yeah, you're like living for those daylight hours. And it's like
Yep.
every time it becomes nighttime, you're just like, oh no, oh no, oh no. And like, yeah, so subtle, but so effective. And I think that's what it is too, is it felt like something you'd see on a ghost show, not like a
Yeah.
reenactment, but like, or like you'd be at a party and someone say, like, oh yeah, I had a ghost, and like they'd tell you about it.
Mhm.
I talked about this a lot on my show where like there are when I get true stories, because I make it very clear, like, you know, I can't prove if these true stories are
Yeah.
true that people
Yeah.
send me. And I was like, but there are a few that I've rejected because they're clearly not true. I was like, the thing is, when you hear a real ghost story or real, I don't know, depending on what you believe,
Yeah.
but if you hear like a real, a very strange story that of inexplicable happenings, they're usually not very detailed. They're kind of short.
Right.
Like when I get them, like sometimes the scariest true stories I've gotten, it'll be someone who's like, I'm sorry, this isn't that long. It's like 5 sentences, but this is what happened. It'll be like, oh, that's the scariest thing I've
Yeah.
ever
Yeah. Yeah.
heard
Yeah.
because it was
Yeah.
just so unexplainable. And like that's what I think Paranormal Activity really like grabbed, is it didn't give
Mhm.
us everything. We hardly saw outside the house. Like I met Katie one time, by the way, from
Mhm.
Paranormal Activity, and it was like, oh, you're okay. Like you're you're real and you're okay, and that's good to see. Yay, you're not possessed. You're just a nice lady. Like, yeah.
I saw Mika at a horror convention one time, and
Oh, really?
nobody wanted to talk to that guy. I felt so bad. Like he was just kind of
Oh my
tucked in the
god.
corner, like looking at people, like waving, trying to get people to come over. And I know everybody was like, "No way, man! You were the dickhead of that movie." Like it was like they
Oh my god.
really bought into like him being just that much of an ass.
It's so funny because I met Katie at a party and like there were other celebrities there, and the host of the party was like said something about the celebrities, and I was like, I know Katie's here, and he was just like, because there were others, I don't want to like name all of them, but they
Yeah,
were like, because it's like a private thing, it wasn't an event, it was just a party, but like, and I was like, I that's so cool, but like she's Katie from
right.
Paranormal Activity. Like, yeah, like I took a picture with her and everything. I was like, I'm so sorry. This is like not something you should do at like a party like this. Again,
Yeah,
it's not an event. But she was like, oh my God, no. Like she was so happy to. I was like over the moon, and oh my God. Yeah. So it was so funny, someone being like, why are you talking? Why are you excited about this woman?
right.
I'm like,
Like who is that? Yeah.
She's my everything. You don't
Yeah.
understand. She went through so
Sadie, damn
much. Yeah.
it. See, and that's like that whole franchise is kind of a good example of what you were saying about how like less is more. Whereas like
Yes.
the first three, they don't explain a ton. They give
Yeah.
you a little bit of explanation. I was very much in
Mhm.
the camp that it shouldn't have a sequel. Like I didn't
Mhm.
even want it to have a part two,
Same.
but they
Yeah.
sold me on part two. Like part two is a good movie. And then I
Mhm.
was like, oh, they're gonna do a prequel. And I was like, I don't
I
know.
know.
But no, it was
The prequel,
fantastic.
I was so hesitant about, but then it was scary.
It
Those
was.
first 3
Yeah.
stayed scary, and I
Yeah.
was the same way. I was very hesitant, and even going back, like, I told you just a rewatch with my little cousins, and I was like, I don't remember I was like, I remember still loving the next 2, but, I was like, I wonder if they still and sure enough, I was like, "Oh my god, those are so scary. They're so
Yeah.
good, so scary." I liked the 4th. I hated the Amish one. I can't
Yeah.
remember what it was called
Next of
now. I
kin.
hated that one. I
Yeah.
just like again, too much. I don't need all this. What even is this
Yeah.
anymore? Like this is a whole different movie. And sometimes they do that, Paranormal Activity or Cloverfield did that with
Yeah. Paradox.
uh Paradox. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
like that wasn't a Cloverfield movie, but they were like, "Oh, maybe when we put Cloverfield on it, it'll like work." And then they added a
Right.
couple extra scenes to make it Cloverfield.
Yeah.
I
And it
actually
didn't
didn't
work.
dislike. Yeah, I know. I didn't even hate Paradox because I like the whole like the idea of like they kind of did a is it the USS Philadelphia that the
I think so.
Philadelphia
Something like that.
experiment
Yeah. Yeah.
type thing. Yeah. Liked that, but also it was like it was so transparent to people who aren't even like movie nerds, like they could
Yeah.
see this was
Yeah.
shoehorned in, and that's
Yeah.
how
It
I
was a cash
felt.
grab. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I
Yeah.
felt that last Paranormal Activity was. I was like, this isn't Paranormal Activity. What are
Yeah.
we
I
doing?
was excited for that one too. Like when the
Me
Amish one
too.
came out, I was like, oh, I love Paranormal Activity,
Yes.
minus the 4, 5, and 6. Like they'd get diminishing returns from me after
They do.
that.
They really
Um,
do.
yeah. But like Next of Kin, like as soon as it hit streaming, like we sat down
Me
and we
too.
were
Remember they
excited
had a
about
whole
it.
premiere for it because
Yeah.
it was like
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
would
Yeah.
only
Yeah.
I would think it was during COVID, so it was like only streaming at home. I
Mhm.
remember I watched it like the
Yeah.
night it came out. Was so excited.
And they paired it with a documentary about like the entire franchise, like a
That's
kind of a
right.
retrospective documentary. And the documentary was better than Next of Kin.
Mhm.
Like I was more
Yeah,
excited at the end of the
me
documentary
too.
than I was at Next of Kin. Like
I was so
it
disappointed
felt
with
like
Next of
too
Kin.
much
Mhm.
explanation. Sometimes I don't want to know
I
why.
know.
It's just scarier to not know why.
It really did. It felt sometimes movies tend to feel like they are writing moment to moment instead of
Yeah.
like and I think found footage gets guilty of that, of the writing of moment to moment, because
Yeah.
then it starts to feel like kids playing pretend, like, and
Yes.
then we do this, and then we do this, and then this happens, and then
Mhm.
this happens, and it's like, whoa. Like
Like
you want a found footage to feel
mhm.
spontaneous. That doesn't mean it needs to be spontaneous in
Right.
production, you
Right.
know?
Right. Still needs a little structure, you know.
Yeah. Exactly.
Totally derailed myself there for a second.
I'm sorry. Did
No,
I
no, no,
I
it's
I
totally
probably
fine.
contributed
It
to that.
happens.
I'm a
We
tangent
we've
person,
gone like
so
50 minutes and I haven't lost my train of thought, so this is like a total win for me. Um, oh, yeah, do you have any ones that, let's say, you went into with a lot of hype and you were really, really excited for? Obviously, Next of Kin, you said, but that just like you
yep.
got to the end of them and you were like, "What is this crap? What did I just sit through?"
God, I'm trying to think. I'm sure it's happened. I'm sure I've gone into it and been like, oh, there was one. Okay, my co-host Zena and I, we disagree on this one. I cannot remember the name of it right now. Probably for the best, because in case you never know how the internet works. Sometimes the
Yeah.
filmmakers will see stuff. But it was like this woman, she moves into like the storyline sounded so me. My co-host loved it, and she was like, "Oh my god, you're gonna love this." She like moves into this house that her grandma died, and she moves into the house to like, clean it out and everything.
Mhm.
And she also the reason we're seeing the footage, the foundness of the footage,
Is this
is
the one where
because she
she's the
has
yoga instructor?
yes,
Yeah.
yes. How did you know? Yes, it's the one where she's a
I
yoga
just watched it
instructor.
like a month ago. That's
Really?
yeah, for the
And
first
I
time
was
I just saw it.
so hyped for it, and I hated it. I hated it. I was just so unimpressed by it, and I was mad at myself because I was
Mhm.
like, "I wanna like this." My co-host, again, she knows I love found footage, so she was like, "You're gonna love this," and she loved it, and I was like, "I don't know." I just, like, was so underwhelmed and irritated by parts of it. And I was like, I hated this so much. And so, yeah. And that was one I was really upset because I had to go back to the show and be like, yeah,
Right.
so I hated it.
Yeah, because your co-host was probably like, so did you like the movie? They were all
I
thinking you were
know.
going to be able
And
to
I
talk
know how
about
that
it.
feels
Yeah.
to be like, oh, you're going to love this. And then a friend being like, I hated that.
Yeah,
Like,
that was terrible. Yeah.
you know, it's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm so
I
sorry.
didn't hate it. I won't go too far as to say I loved it. I thought the characters were really obnoxious, and
Maybe
nothing
that's
will
what it
pull me
was.
out of a found footage movie quite as fast as
The
that.
not wanting to, not caring about the main
Yeah,
characters. I know you gotta love them, or not love them, but you gotta even if you love to hate them, like, but
yeah,
like these characters, I just didn't like her, and I didn't care if she died, and I
yeah,
knew she probably was going to, and I was like, fucking good. Can you just
yeah,
do it already? Like,
yeah.
yeah.
Like
Mhm.
they're very found footage tends to be a little trope heavy for me sometimes. Like I find more often than not that within like the first 5 minutes, I can kind of tell you exactly what's going to happen beat by beat.
Yes,
So
absolutely. Yeah, that was
I
one
like
thing.
it.
That whole movie, I knew exactly what was happening
Yeah,
the entire time to a frustrating degree. I remember there was like one part where she goes into like a bedroom or something, and I was like, okay, this is what's going to happen, but I'm hoping I'm wrong.
and
Like,
you weren't.
prove me wrong. And then
Yeah, nope.
I know. Yeah.
The other weird thing I've noticed is that like obviously there's a lot of like American found footage horror.
Yes.
And there's a lot of Korean and Japanese, like a ton of the
Mhm.
found footage movies from them. England has an insane amount of found footage movies.
They have some
Like
good stuff.
almost
Yeah.
more than the US. Like they
Mhm.
have like you can almost like you can just look at it like by the name and I can be like, this is from Europe. Like I can guarantee you this
Yeah.
is from Europe. You can just
They
tell.
just got footage laying all over the place to be
Yeah.
found. Yeah.
And though they have spookier architecture too. They're like, oh, look, a
They
castle, you know,
do.
like, yeah.
Oh, man, I was just talking about one from England, called it was called The Borderlands there, and in
Oh
America,
yeah,
it's called Final Prayer, yeah.
Final Prayer, yeah.
And, like, that church that's, like, medieval is,
Scary as
like,
hell.
what a great place to have your
Mhm.
spooky shit going on, like,
Yeah,
I felt uncomfortable just seeing that church, like,
yeah,
so old,
exactly.
like,
Yeah,
oh, it's like just the church alone was older than anything we have in this country, and it was
like,
like,
it made you feel
ah.
like you could almost feel it, like, on your skin when it was open. You're like, "I
Yeah,
feel grimy, and
yeah.
I need to go take a shower," and
Exactly. There's this thing, like, I love going to estate sales, and, my friends and I have talked about, like, after we go to them, sometimes we'll get lunch after, but sometimes it's like, I just have to go shower. Like, I
yeah,
just dug through a bunch of dusty dead
yeah,
person stuff, and, like,
yeah,
I feel it all over
yeah.
me.
You've
Yeah.
got, like, 30 years worth of other people's dust on your hands.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Exactly. Mhm.
Now, do you have like, obviously, found footage has kind of subgenres in it, like, most of them
Mhm.
tend to lean more towards supernatural, but you do get some that'll lean into, like, stalking and peeping Tom type stuff, and, I'm trying to think of, there's a movie called Sorgoy Prokev, and it's
Hmm.
basically like so if you took Borat or, like, the premise of Borat, like, a guy from a small country going to other countries and like so this guy goes to France and he's got like
Uh-huh.
a big camera attached to his head, this very kind of it's going to make you stand out kind of camera
Yeah.
setup and like a big arm coming up off of his chest to hold his phone, and he's just walking around France like meeting people and looking at things. He barely speaks the language, like he doesn't have any idea where the hell he's going, and he ends up making this like series of ridiculously poor decisions. And by the end of it, he's like I don't want to spoil it in case you go to watch it, but like at the end, he is not the same person he started out the
I
film
need to
as.
watch that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Um,
man.
or I just watched Be My Cat. Have you seen that one
I have
yet?
not seen Be My
It's
Cat,
about a
no.
guy from, I'll say Romania, but I could be totally wrong, but I feel like it's some
Mhm.
kind of Eastern European country, who wants to make a movie. He wants Anne Hathaway to be in the movie. So the whole movie is him going around filming this movie that he's going to send to Anne Hathaway to get her to come be in his movie. But he's
Mhm.
nuts. Like he is
Yeah.
full on insane and like murders the people in these scenes. Like he actually kills them, and he just gets nuttier and nuttier as it goes, and you realize that he's like obsessed with Anne Hathaway. Like he thinks he's going to marry her and have a family with her. Like it's insane. Like I would love to meet her sometime and just be like, have you seen this
Have you
movie? Because
seen
I
this?
need to, yeah,
Yeah.
like I need to know what your opinion is of this like horrific dude that made a movie about
Oh my
you.
God. I will say I'm having trouble thinking of many I've seen or any I've seen that don't have a supernatural, like they don't lean supernatural. And now I'm
It's
so
kind of a
intrigued.
go-to.
Yeah, it's like I'm so intrigued. I like want to see more that's not supernatural. I'm
Not
gonna
that.
have to, oh my God,
I'll
please.
have to I'll have to go through my list and pick out ones that I
Yeah,
like, and I'll
message them
send them
all
over
to
to you.
me. Oh my
Yeah.
God, send them all to me. Yes, please.
Let's see. What do you think of the Creep series? Have you seen the Creep movies and the
Oh,
show?
I love them.
Yeah.
I got to interview Mark Duplass recently about
Get
them.
out.
Yeah, at the last
Is he as wonderful as I think he is?
He's wonderful. Oh my God. He's wonderful. And I got to talk to him all about the Creep series because it was right before the Creep season 2 of the
Yeah.
series came out. And getting to talk to him about those movies was just a dream come true. It was one of those where I was just like, oh my God, you're you know. I
Yeah.
hardly ever get starstruck, but it's like the most random people make me starstruck. He was one of them because I was like, you're
Right.
you're a creep. You're the creep. And he was very like, he talked so much about the movie and like how the first one was just them like going to a cabin and like filming some stuff and being fucking weird and like then going back because they were like, okay, some of this is garbage. And like,
right.
And then the series, I was hesitant about the series before I saw it because I was like, I mean, the movies are just brilliant. And then like the series is just so good.
Insane.
I love
it so much.
So good.
Like with the way the second one ends, like obviously that kind of puts the nail in the series, so to speak.
Yes.
I was excited at the thought of him coming back to do these, but I was like, there's a window on this. Like there is only a certain number of these that you can feasibly get because the franchise is done, essentially. Like it's ended. They have not let me down a single time on a single episode. And I am one of those chronic like scrollers on my phone when I'm watching something.
Me too.
Not
unfortunately.
those. If the movies or the show is on, I don't even look at my phone doesn't exist.
Same.
Like I log it on whatever I do to keep track of like what I've seen and what I haven't. And that's the last I look at my phone. Like he is so engaging.
Yeah. It was so neat because he told me like they film them in like 3 days. Like they just take like a weekend and go film them. And they like let each actor know like what's up and how to film it and like what's real and what's not. And because he's like, we like to get some like genuine, like just let the scene play out essentially.
Yeah, get
not
real reactions
murders,
from it. Yeah.
But like, yeah. And I told him, I was like, you know, my favorite one, because again, only the first season had come out at that point. I was like, the bird watching one. I was like, it felt so random because it's like you get the first episode and it feels like Creep. Here we are in the Creep world. We're used to this world. It was like, and then all of a sudden we're in a field. You're pretending to be a
like,
skydiver.
Instead of in the house, it's out in the open, and
we're out in the open, which was so unsettling. And I was like, and also like the fact that you were like actually pointing out like he was actually pointing out birds and like being in the car and like it was just there was so much in it that was so like what show am I watching now, you know? But honestly, it's so fun to watch him like become all these different characters. Like it's so fun. And he said, you know, people have asked about in the, you know, with Creep, we saw all those other tapes in the house. And it was like, what's on those other tapes? Well, here's what's on the other tapes. Here you go.
Like he's kind of a horror. I would go so far as to say, like with horror, he's kind of a genius. Like he has figured out how to make a character and like stay true to that character over a long period of time, which I have to assume is hard to do. On a long enough timeline, you're eventually going to write something that maybe doesn't play into everyone's thoughts about what that character should or shouldn't do. And I don't think he's dropped the ball a single time.
No, well, and again, like I was saying about like found footage in general, how you need to utilize what you have or like the world around you. Like he talked about how in that first episode, they didn't know it was going to snow. It happened to snow. And that made that last scene was the snow. Like that made, they just kind of rewrote what the ending was going to be by utilizing the fact that there was this big snowfall that happened while they were at this cabin. And I was like, that made it brilliant though. Like that made it so good. And like just the fact that you can change they're willing to change, and they both of them, him and his collaborative partner, like the director, his name is escaping right now, and I feel so bad. And I spoke to him. He was at the thing too. But like the fact that they're so willing to, I don't know, set egos aside in a way to be like, actually, let's do this. Like, what if we change this? And like editing it kind of on, like they said that their editor kind of will edit things like on the spot and everything. And I mean, just a genius way of utilizing your environment, essentially.
Yeah, I kind of love it. I really want a Peach Fuzz mask. Like, I don't have a lot of masks or anything like that, but I really want a Peach Fuzz one.
I asked him how they came across the Peach Fuzz mask. I was like, how did you choose that? And he said it was like the cheapest one on Amazon or something. Like,
and now you can't find it because I've looked. Like, you can't find anything
they just like found it on Amazon, and it was like able to be overnighted or something like that. It was something very simplistic. Like, again, utilizing just like whatever you have.
That's
and
so awesome.
Like it I just love it so much. Yeah.
Have you seen Strange Harvest yet?
Have I seen Strange Harvest yet? No, I have not. Sorry. It's like
no. So
I watched so much work. Yeah.
Is on Hulu, I want to say. So if you want to catch it, I think it's on there. That one is a little bit more of a mock true crime documentary. Like, it plays out like you're watching something like The First 48 Hours or something like that, with like interviews and all that kind of stuff. But it's about a serial killer who has come back over multiple generations.
Ooh.
And it ends up having like this kind of like cosmic-y twist to it. Like, I won't go into it too much because
I like cosmic horror a lot. Yeah. I do. Yeah,
this will definitely scratch that itch. Have you seen one called Inner Demons?
Inner Demons? No.
All right, so that one is about a girl who she claims she's possessed. Like, her parents claim that she's kind of possessed. Like, her mother is this, I believe, like a very religious woman. Her father is also, but he's also a bit of an alcoholic. So like they kind of insinuate that there's been trouble there with the past, and she ends up in a mental hospital, and this crew is like kind of documenting her experience. Like, they're following her around, and if there's people trying to help her and make her realize that she isn't possessed by a demon, and shit just goes awry, of course, because it's a found footage movie. That movie, I don't get shocked by endings very often. And that movie's ending made my jaw go like,
oh my God.
I wasn't expecting it.
Like yesterday. Yes. Oh my God.
Because they kind of insinuate like partway through that this might be what happens, but then they completely go past it. And you're like, oh no, this might actually have like kind of a happy sort of ending. And no.
They're like, no, fuck you. No.
Yeah. Sorry, pal.
Have you seen, I know I'm the one who you're supposed to be asking this to, but have you seen Dash Cam? And if you did you like it?
Did I see it? Which one is Dash Cam?
It's the same director as Host. It's the one where it's like that awful woman, and she's driving around.
I have seen Dash Cam.
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot of people hated it. I really loved it.
I liked it, but I hated her. But I realized partway through the movie that you're supposed to.
You're supposed to hate her.
That's the whole point. You're just not.
I think a lot of people didn't realize that. I mean, not to say like, oh, you just didn't get it. Like, I hate those people, but like, no, like I think some people genuinely didn't realize you were supposed to hate her.
Right.
Yeah.
Which to me is the mark of a well-written character. Like, if I don't realize that you want me to hate her and I just straight up hate her, good job. You effectively wrote a character if I'm buying it.
I was just listening today to the director, Mary Bronstein, I think her name is. She just did the movie If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. And she was on Conan O'Brien, and he is in that movie. It's the first time he's ever like acted. And he was talking to her about the process of like realizing like he really hated his own character. He's like, I would hate this guy. And she said they had to do like a lot of work because he's not an actor. So he had to like learn from scratch of like, she's like, no, you have to love him. The audience can hate him. And she was like, the thing is, there are people in the world we hate, and like we want to see them also. Like, we can't just see people we love. And I was like, oh my God, you're so right. Because I get into this argument a lot with, not argument, but like I get this from my audience sometimes where like some of my audience really detests having a protagonist that is unlikable. And I like that. Not all the time. Like we've said, there's sometimes where people are just so obnoxious. It's like, I'm not even hating you. So I don't like this at all.
They're just not fun to watch.
Yeah, but I think sometimes it's successful. I mean, like I said, not everyone can like dash cam. It's pretty gross, and like I get it, especially for when it came out. Someone like
Yeah.
that, I feel
Yeah.
like it was not the right time. I
No, if
will
that
admit
had been like
that.
a post-COVID movie, like a hey everybody
Yeah.
remember COVID, nudge nudge, like I think it would have been a little bit more accepted, I think, with that.
Yeah, I agree because I think a lot of people were like, "Well, clearly we see where the director stands." And I'm like, "I
Mhm.
don't think you do though. I don't think you do." But
Yeah.
again, not that never anybody has to like it, but me and my best friend Rosemary from the last podcast groups,
Hi, Rosemary.
we both hi Rosemary. We both love that movie. I remember sending it. That was one where I was like hesitantly like, "I think you'd like this movie, but everyone hates it that I've seen
Yeah.
online." And she ended up loving it, and we both loved it. And the same director did Boogeyman, which for work related reasons, I won't say much about.
Yeah.
But I wish he would return to stuff like Host and
Okay.
Dashcam. I feel like he lives in found footage so well.
Mhm.
Again, utilizing different environments than just a VHS camera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen the influencer movies? Those are a little more found footage adjacent, I would say. Like they're
They are. I have not fully seen like I started the first one and for some reason I had to turn it off. Not being because of the movie, some other
yeah,
reason. And I have not followed through with them, but I've heard hot and cold things about those
I
movies
love them.
for sure. Hmm.
They're so
Awesome.
fun. Like
I love influencers in
yeah,
horror situations. I think it's a
yeah,
fun genre.
it
Yeah. That's
is.
why I was really disappointed in hating the yoga lady because I was like,
Yeah.
no, this does feel like something I would like. Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
I have seen other YouTube channels talk about like found footage movies, and when they get to stuff like influencer based, they're always like, well, it kind of time stamps the movie and the decade that it's from. And I
Whatever.
don't see how anything is gonna like in 10 years, no one's gonna care about that. And like really? Because like every movie that comes out is time stamped in some way to the era that it came out
Exactly.
in, and we still watch those. Like I still watch the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and you don't get much more 1970s than the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Exactly. I fully agree. I mean, I watch movies from the 50s where they go to an automat and automats don't exist anymore.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it doesn't make
Sometimes
it like,
movies have
oh, well, this isn't
payphones in it.
relatable to me in 2026.
Right,
So,
right.
like, shut up. Yeah.
Grow
No, I
up,
agree.
damn it.
Yeah. Grow up. Yeah. Look beyond your own self. Everyone
Yeah,
like solipsism is taking over the world. Like there's more world beyond your two little eyes and your
there
own
is.
little
And some
world.
of it is great.
It
Go check it
is.
out.
Go check it out.
Watch bad movies, damn it.
Find Google Neil Breen right now
Yeah.
and live life. Yeah.
Go watch Champagne and Bullets.
Champagne and bullets.
People are gonna hate me for that.
Oh my god. I was just thinking, I
Anybody
was
that
like, oh
goes to
my god,
watch that.
actually telling everyone to go watch Neil Breen, you're gonna get I know the show is new, but it's not too early to get some emails
That's all
about
right. Fuck them.
how dare you ruin my evening.
Yeah, exactly. Uh, all right. So, are you ready to slide into the closing segment of the show here?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So, have you, Shelby, ever had a paranormal experience or seen a ghost?
Yes. I've had a few. Yes.
Let's hear it.
So, okay, well, I have never seen a full ghost. I have seen the
Mhm.
shoes of a ghost.
Okay.
So I lived in an apartment for a long time that there was something in there. It was a bad time in my life. I had like 6 roommates. They were all these dudes, lovely guys, but
Right.
still just like not an ideal part of my life. But anyway,
Yeah.
I like lived in this apartment and it was just kind of a shitty apartment and I
Mhm.
knew something was in there. And every day around the same time, if you happen to be in the bathroom and some of the other guys agreed with this. If you happen to be in the bathroom, you could hear outside the bathroom door there was carpet, but there's clearly floorboards underneath.
Yeah.
And you could hear them squeaking under the carpet, like
Like somebody's
every
walking on
day at
them.
the same time. Yeah, like someone was walking on them outside the bathroom door. We'd all like heard it at some point. And like one time I happened to like have the day off because this was around 5 p.m., around like evening time.
Mhm.
I happened to have the day off and like I was in the bath and I heard it like and it sounded like not just like, ooh, I think I might have heard something, like fully like someone walked up to the door and is
Yeah.
standing outside the door. Like it was
Yeah.
loud.
Ugh.
So anyway, there was another time I was home and I was like, oh my God, like there's like someone outside the door. Like this is so scary. And so there was another time I was home and again, I was by myself. Everybody else was at work. I was sculpting on the coffee table. The coffee table we had was glass, so you could, see through it. That's how glass works. But I was sculpting, and I thought I heard the front door. Again, I'm like right next to the front door, but I was like doing something intricate that I couldn't like look up, and so I was sculpting something tiny, and I heard the front door open, and I watched men's shoes walk by like under the table but like in front of the table, and I was like, oh, are you home early? Because all these dudes also worked at the same place and had the same schedules.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, are you are you home early? And I look up and there's no one there, and I'm like, ugh. So I like kind of like hello, and I text a few of them because I'm like, because they kept their doors shut during the day, and so I was like, did you like come home? Are you sick? Like no one was home. It was just me. And I had just like watched someone like fully watched some shoes walk by. And I was like, okay. And again, I realized I looked at the time and it was around like 5 p.m. And I was like, okay, this is a residual haunting.
Yeah.
This dude gets home from work every day at this time. Like
and goes to and heads to the bathroom.
To the bathroom. Maybe he's shy pooper, can't poop at work. There's a lot of those in the world. No shame. And so like that's what I thought. I was like, okay, I'm officially not afraid of it. I don't think it's intelligent, and it didn't feel scary other than just it's scary that that stuff was happening.
Just that it's there. Yeah.
It was unsettling. I also had another apartment in Koreatown here in LA that was very old, and I was young. I started destroying this part. Okay, there was a cabinet in my apartment. It was this very, very old building, and there was a cabinet, and I realized I was like, this cabinet was like thick, like the wall was thick, and I was like, this is not a cabinet. So I started chipping away at the paint because it had the landlord special on it. Turns out it was an old ice box. It was an old like Kenmore ice box. I have pictures of it. But so I was like, oh shit, this is like an old ice. I wish I could steal this from this apartment. Like it was like so cool and old. Well, after I started then because even when I was very young, I've always been into ghosts. So I was like, hey, like I found your fridge. Welcome back to the world, fridge. And so in that kitchen, shit would happen all the time. There was one time I was standing at my stove cooking. I had a bottle of olive oil on top of my fridge, and it flew off and hit the other wall and shattered. Like it just like flew off. And it was like, and I remember in that moment thinking like, oh, so that does happen. Like, cause you always hear in ghost shows, they're like, oh, and it flew across the room. And I was like, I've never seen that happen. I was like,
it always seemed like a Hollywood kind of thing.
Yeah. And in that moment, I wasn't even scared. I remember just being like, oh, I guess they do that. And I was like, hey, I'm really, and it was a very broke time in my life. I was like, I'm like really broke right now, and olive oil is really expensive. Can you
not break my olive oil, please?
Yeah, like that's not cool. And so yeah, it was that. And then I had my biggest one that's like the scariest. There's been other little things, but like was an auditory one. I've told this story so many times, but I was in Mississippi with my ex-husband. We weren't married yet, and we went to the battlefield in Vicksburg. I was so excited. I was listening to your episode or watching your episode with Hannah, the last episode you did, and she was talking all about like haunted places around Mississippi, and I was like, oh my God, I know those places. But anyway, we went to Vicksburg. I'd never been to like a Civil War battlefield before. I'd never really been anywhere old. I'm from California. I hadn't at that time been out of California that much, especially anywhere east. Like I still haven't been east anywhere really, like past the south. So we went to this battlefield, we were driving around it, and like all of a sudden, like we were parts of it, because it's been taken back over by the forest. There's like a lot of forest, and you kind of drive to each little landmark, and it's like the sounds of the forest just went away. And I was like, what the fuck? And then I was like, oh my God, something is happening. But I had like not been dating my then boyfriend for very long. So I was like, I don't know if this is the time.
I'm not going to scare him off here. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, I'm going to sound like a freak. I'm going to look like a freak. So I didn't say anything. And then as we're like, he slowed down really slow to go around this one corner. And I swore I could hear men talking like in my ear, like men. And I was like, again, like, I can't I can't tell this guy that I'm like hearing voices. You
Right.
can't do that. You
Yeah, there's
can't
no
do
way to
that.
calmly say that really, like
No, it's the first time and he was like bringing the reason we were in Mississippi, he's from there. So it was like he just brought me home to like meet the parents. I can't tell him I'm like
yeah,
hearing voices. So then he stops the car and reaches over and turns off the radio because the radio was going, but this was not radio.
yeah,
And he
yeah,
turns off the radio. And so I'm like, oh, he hears something too.
and he's double
And
checking, yeah.
yeah. And so he like stops and turns off the radio. I think he too in the moment was like, I can't tell this. I can't say I'm hearing voices.
Yeah,
And then we just kind of look at each other and it gets like louder. And then he turns off the car because I
yeah.
think it was like that one of those psychic conversations of like, this has to, let's
It's
debunk this right now
yeah, there's
because
gotta be
this is
some kind of explanation
insane.
for it. Yeah.
So, yeah. So he turns off the car and it gets louder, like men
Oh, man.
talking. And I can't describe what they were saying individually, but it felt like they were talking about us, like they could
Right.
see us. And I'm very into time slips. It's one of my favorite like weird phenomenons, and
It's
that's
a
the only thing
favorite.
I
I
can
love
think
it.
of that it was. Yeah, is like maybe they could see us. I don't know if they could see
Yeah.
the car, but it was like I was like I think a regiment of men like saw us and they were equally as confused and we could hear them. And it like so then it just like disappeared, like stopped.
Mhm,
And it was we look and another car had pulled up behind us, like,
mhm.
and they like had just come around the corner. It was like the car like made it all stop. And so like quickly he like had to turn the car back on. We had to drive away. And like
Yeah.
it was like the weirdest thing I've ever experienced. It's one of those like I really have a lot of empathy now for people who not just now, but like it really gave me so much more empathy for people who write into my show who are like,
Mhm.
this sounds insane. I'm not even a believer in ghosts, so I don't even know what this is, but this happened. And it's like, I get it. There's stuff that just happens. And
Mhm.
I can't explain it.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened that day. I don't know why I heard men. I don't know why we both
Yeah.
heard men. Like, I don't know. So, yeah.
See, and the thing that I love about stuff like that is like, so if you told that, let's say you told that story to like a group of people, right?
Mhm.
Some of them are going to full on believe you. And then there are going to
Yeah.
be some of them that think you're completely off your nut about it and you're
Yep.
just crazy. But the fact doesn't change that you experienced something.
Mhm.
Like they can't explain what it is or isn't. Like you had the experience. So it's really
Yeah.
left entirely up to your interpretation as to what the hell it was. Like no
Yeah.
one can take that moment from you. Like, and I
Mhm.
feel like anybody who has an experience like that, all they're ever really looking for when they tell that a story, unless they're just, flat out making it up like it's some kind of hoax shit.
Yeah.
Um, all they really want is someone to believe them. Like they just
Yeah.
want somebody to believe them enough to listen to the story and let them kind of
Mhm.
unburden themselves with it.
Yes.
Yeah, which is
Yes.
kind of the whole premise for asking this question on the show. Like I want people to like not feel weird about
Yeah,
that
don't
stuff.
feel
Like
weird.
everybody has weird stuff that happens to them that they can't
Yeah.
explain. That doesn't mean
Mhm.
it's fake. It just means it happened to you and you can't explain it, you know?
Exactly. Like, I'm not asking you to believe in ghosts. Like, I
Yeah.
talk about that frequently on my show. I had one person write in recently and there was like, I hate it when you do these true story episodes because I don't believe in any of this shit. It's all
Mhm.
fake. And I don't know why he said something about like, you seem like you're smart. Why would you believe any of this shit? And I'm like, because
Oh,
I've
I hate that.
experienced weird stuff. Like,
Yeah.
and it's like, I'm sorry there's no whimsy in your world. I'm sorry
Right?
everything is so
Yeah.
explainable. Like, I'm sorry that you've
Yeah.
never
I'm
had
sorry there's no
anything
magic,
happen to
sir.
you.
Yeah.
Right? Sorry. I don't know what to tell you. Like, but
The
yeah,
world
those
is
people, I
very
think a lot of
boring for
people,
you.
right, who have never experienced anything strange, they just don't get it. They just
Yeah.
don't they can't believe it. And I don't know what they think. It's like, do you think we're all just making stuff up like for
Right?
attention? Like
Yeah, like who
I
would
didn't
like
tell
I can
that
understand
story
there's some
for
people that would, but
yeah, for
why?
sure.
Like,
Why?
most people aren't gonna sit in front of a group of other people or go on a podcast or go on some kind of interview
Oh,
show and,
exactly.
like, try to make up a story that could easily be picked apart. Like, y
Absolutely.
you can tell when somebody is kind of faking it. Like, if there's an
Oh,
overabundance of detail,
there's so many
you're you're
details.
you're you're adding to it.
There's
Like,
a whole
you've made
setup
up
and details and there's
Yeah,
an aftermath. There's usually a solution or an aftermath. Like real
yeah,
stuff most of the time is like, and this happened and then it never happened again. I don't
yeah,
know.
and then
I
that
don't
was
know
it.
I don't know
Yeah.
what it is. Yeah. I had that happen recently on my show. I did a dark Reddit that was
Mhm.
holiday themed. And I found all these stories of people who had seen Santa Claus. They swear
Okay.
they saw Santa Claus. And so I did all these stories and I was like, this is so crazy. They're all around the same age. They had the same kind of experience. I was like, maybe at the time I said Santa Claus was a tulpa. And I was like, but then someone
I
corrected
buy
me. They're
that.
like, I think he's an egregore because it's like, the definitions are different. And I was like, fully,
Okay.
totally. I got so many emails from people who were like, I cannot believe I just listened to your show and I saw Santa. Like I've never told, like I had several that were like, I've never told anyone this because it sounds
Huh.
fucking insane. Like you can't see Santa. He's not real. I
Right.
got stories. I even had people tell me personally who did not want their stories on the show who
Hmm.
were like, I I saw Santa as a child. Like I've thought I was crazy my whole life. I've tried to
Right.
explain it away. I saw Santa. And I'm like, I don't know. Apparently he's an egregore. I don't know. So it's like stuff like that. It's like, no, I'm not gonna go like swear to Congress that Santa's a real being that's been
Right.
created by the force of the belief of millions of
Hmm.
people, of children throughout the world. But also, like, I don't know, man. How do you like there's this many stories? That's weird, right? Like, how can you
Yeah.
not just be like, man, that's crazy without being such a fucking asshole about it? You
Right.
know?
And stuff like that. You know what? I want to know what it is. Like if there is no such thing as ghosts, like if there is flat out
Mm-hmm.
no such thing as ghosts, I want to know what these people are experiencing, like what is
Yeah.
causing these moments. I don't need there to be ghosts. I don't
Mm-hmm.
personally care if ghosts are real or not. I want to
Yeah.
know what they saw. I want to know
Mm-hmm.
like what scared the hell out of them. Like why? Why did it happen? Like is there an explanation? Because if there's no explanation,
Mm-hmm.
then it's paranormal. And paranormal
Exactly.
doesn't necessarily mean ghosts from the beyond the
Exactly.
grave.
And
It just
people
means you
forget
can't
that.
explain it. Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Like people who think
Exactly.
that UFO or UAP now, whatever you want to call
Oh,
it,
yeah.
like it doesn't
Whatever it's
necessarily
called.
mean aliens. It just means that there's something in the sky and I don't
It's
know
just
what it is.
unexplained.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I agree. I talk a lot about science on the show too, about like,
Mhm.
scientists believe there are multiple dimensions and time is
Yeah.
not linear. And like that could explain ghosts because maybe we just got a little oopsie glimpse
Yeah.
into like some dude standing there in like 1842.
Hmm.
And that's why. And it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I'm not,
Yeah.
and again, I always say on the show, I'm like, I'm not telling you like this is what it is. But something happened and that's
Yeah.
crazy. Like, and it's
They
fun to
clearly
hear about.
experienced something. So
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
yeah.
Like glitches in the matrix. I love that kind of thing
It's
because
cool
it's
stuff.
like,
I'm really
it's
you
so
were the first
fascinating.
person to kind of open my eyes to it, so to speak. Like
Oh my
I
God.
had heard of the concept before, but your first couple episodes on like time slip and stuff like that, I
Yeah.
was like, man, what an interesting concept. And then I started seeing it like elsewhere and got
Mm,
more into it. Like I find it really fascinating, and like
so
you would be
fascinating.
hard pressed not to get me to not believe that. Like
Yeah.
I think it's totally possible.
Mm-hmm. It's just so fascinating because, like, what is it? Like, these people, especially
Yeah.
when it'll be like an entire car full of people. It's like, well, are
Yeah.
they all wrong? Like,
Yeah.
I don't
Like if you've got
know.
five people in a car and they all experience something and you're making it up, eventually one of those five people is going to slip. Like five people can't keep a
Exactly.
secret. Like
Absolutely.
two people can't keep a secret. So
Mm-hmm.
something something happened, and that's kind of what my favorite part of it is. Like I just want to know what. Like
Yeah.
if you when you go out to like Skinwalker Ranch, like there's all kinds of weird things that
Oh
go on at
man.
Skinwalker
Yeah.
Ranch, and maybe there's a legitimate reason, scientific reason for why those things happen.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know what it is.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's aliens or skinwalkers or any of that stuff. I just want to know what it is.
Literally, like, what is it? Why does this happen? Why do these glitches in the matrix happen? Like, why did you see your dad walk in with the groceries, but then he
Yeah.
got home an hour later? And it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
what was that? What was that? Like, those
Yeah.
are the stories that really get me. And it's like, because there's again so simple. There aren't a lot of details. It is that's what happened, and
Yeah.
this is it. There isn't a build up. There isn't a sad ending, a happy ending, any sort of thing. It's just like one day my dad came home with the groceries and then
But
he
he
came
wasn't
home
there.
again an hour later. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't get it.
Yeah, I had a friend who said like his mom went into the bathroom. His sister and he and his sister were sitting on the couch watching TV.
Mhm.
His mom went into the bathroom and then she wasn't though. She was upstairs. But the
Right.
bathroom door was I think it was locked or at least shut. I want to say
Yeah.
locked. And it was like, so what was that?
What happened? Yeah.
What was it?
Something
Yeah.
clearly happened.
something happened. Yeah. So
All right, so we call this the last dive bar at the end of the
yes,
world. So the Shangri-La Lounge kind of exists in that place between reality and whatever the great beyond is.
my favorite
So
place.
before before you head out to whatever is out there, you have been
Hmm.
asked to pick one book, one album, and one movie to pass on to the world. And what do you pick?
Okay, so my book is probably a surprise to some, but my book is Grapes of Wrath by John
Okay.
Steinbeck. And it's my favorite book. It's I know a lot of people are like the one we had to read in history in school. Yes, that one. It's my favorite book. I know it was probably it was more expected for me to bring something spooky, but
No,
it's
not at
just my
all.
favorite.
You like what you like.
I love John Steinbeck, and I my and book movie. We already brought it up. It's Skinamarink. I can't
Okay,
help it. I'm gonna
that's fine.
again. I am its ambassador. I've never met the director. I really wish I could and be like, "Sir, I am your boots on the ground
Seriously,
soldier."
you
Yeah,
are the fan, like the ace
I'm
fan.
the, I'm the fan. Yeah, I'd like to meet him someday. And album is the soundtrack to The Crow.
Ah,
That's my
good choice.
album. It's one of my
What's got
favorite
any favorite
albums.
cuts off that album?
Oh, the Stone Temple Pilot song, Big
Yeah,
Empty.
Big Empty.
I
Yeah,
still like, I mean, I've listened to that album 550 bajillion
yeah.
times, but I remember when I first got my driver's license and I was able to drive at night and listening to Big Empty at night,
Mhm.
like driving, there was something, I mean, he says going faster in my car. So like
Yeah.
it's in
It's
the
an
song.
overall experience to it. Yeah.
It is. There's something about it. I used to write to that album. Like I just like put it on and like write all my
Hmm.
angsty, weird little
Hmm.
teenage story, my little horror stories I'd write as a teenager.
Yeah.
Those all got destroyed at one point by my ex-husband, but it's probably for the best because I know because they were probably really bad. But yeah, that and like I would listen to that and the Queen of the Damned album. That Queen, it was between
Another good
that and the
one.
Queen of the Damned album, honestly, those two soundtracks. I know again, I feel like I was like, I should bring something cooler, like an actual, like
No, not at
cohesive
all.
album by one
No,
band. But I am who I
no.
am. Grapes of
Soundtracks are great.
Wrath.
Soundtracks used to be great. Like soundtracks
Yeah,
used to be
right. They
like
used to be
the best albums you
amazing.
could get.
Like, oh my god, right? And a lot of times they used to have like an original song for the
Hmm.
movie, and
Hmm.
like you could only get it on that album. Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, Grapes of Wrath, the soundtrack to The Crow, and Skinamarink.
I dig it. That's a totally fine list. Totally fine.
Okay, good. I was like, he's not gonna be my friend anymore after this
Oh,
episode.
stop. Oh, stop. Uh, did you have a good time?
I had such a good time. I had
I'm
such a
glad.
good time.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
All right. So give me a second. Let me close this thing out. All right, everybody. I want to thank you all for stopping by the Shangri-La Lounge and hanging out with us for a few minutes. Thank you again to Shelby for coming on the show. It was a whole lot of fun catching up with you again. But until next time, friends, you turn your headlights on, you turn your radio up, and that's where you'll find us, right between the static and the stars. Later, y'all.